it's talking to me at the same time. So, Rose, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm not sure if that's 100% me, but I'll take it for today. Um, I love the title that you came up with. I thought it was so appropriate. Treasure box. That's one of my favorite ways to give gifts. So I tell everyone, it's the average woman want to get a treasure. And so a number of years ago, that's what I started doing. So when I give gifts, I put them in a treasure box. Not all gifts, but just some key gifts. I will put them in a treasure box because I love treasure boxes. I think there are key things in treasure boxes. The things that we love, we treasure. We put them in the box. And sometimes that treasure box is something tangible that we can see. And sometimes that treasure box is something mental that we have. But either way, it is a treasure box. And so I thought that the heading, the title, and what you were doing is just awesome. And the main thing I love that you talked about early on is helping people prepare for marriage, and then it went into helping people prepare for life. You know, that the things that you need in your treasure box just to prepare for life. So with that heading, I started, and that title that you gave me, I started really thinking about, when did I start putting my treasure box together? And I'm a visual person. I need to see things. And I remember putting my treasure together as a child. And I think we all, if we think about it or don't think about it, we began putting our treasure together as a child. As you said, things that happen to us go into our treasure box, go into our mental treasure box. Um, Things that we go through go into our mental treasure box. Good things, bad things, happy things. And we know it went into the box because we remember those things. We can remember the good, we can remember the bad, and we can remember the ugly. All of that is a part of the treasure box. All of that went into that treasure box. So I want to take the treasure box this time and talk about it in seasons. What should be in your treasure box at what season in your life? And you know me, again, I have to tell y'all, I'm visual. So I was outside, and while I was outside, God would just give us some little things that seem so simple to us, and we look at and we see all the time, but we don't think about it. It's like, wait, so I was outside doing my traditional gardening that I was doing, and I saw all different type of leaves. So I saw these type of leaves, which are dead. These leaves are already dead. They fell off the tree and they're gone. And now you just ball them up and they just fall apart. That it's a dead leaf. And then I found some that had been over from the winter, and they were in a different pile, and they was really crumbly. Like you touch them, they would just fall apart. And then I went out to my daughter's garden, and she was telling me, the season. She was like, okay, the winter month is lettuce season, and all of that. Certain vegetables you have to grow during the winter months, and then this season that stuff starts to die off. And so lettuce is one of those things. I just brought you a piece of the lettuce that's in the garden. It's because now lettuce season is dying off. So if you don't have a way of keeping that in house, you cannot leave that outside because the sun is going to kill the lettuce. So everything has a season. And so just even the wild grass, just wild things that grew wild had a season. And so the Lord was just showing me that we go through seasons. The problem that we have as in our treasure box, as you said earlier, some stuff we should have thrown out. We're not clear on what season we're in. And so we now have dead stuff in a living season, or we have stuff that's living in a dead season. And so we got all these seasons in our treasure box. And if we think about it, it's just like these leaves. Why we're not operating properly is because we're not in the right season. God is trying to get us into the living while we're trying to remain in the dead. And what is a dead season? I'm glad you asked about that. A dead season is when you're trying to do something that's no longer working and you have not stepped to deal with that. It's not working. You know it's not working, but you don't want to deal with it because it's difficult. And since you asked me to speak about finances, I want to talk about that being a dead season in your life. So, a dead season may be when you were a child. So, again, I got my demonstrations back here. So, can you guys see this? So, when you are in a season, when you younger, you may start saving pennies. You got a penny jar. When you younger, you 5, 6, 7, your mom say start saving your quarter, start saving your penny, start saving, start saving your change. Now, if you still in the season and you still trying to save change and you 60 years old thinking this don't get you somewhere, you in a dead season. You in the wrong season because as a 60-year-old and a 50-year-old and a 70-year-old, we need to be in millions and thousands and billions. We shouldn't be in a penny season. This is how we know we in the wrong season if we're still collecting pennies because the penny now has what? Zero value.
Mm,
They took
mm.
it off the market, so don't even make anymore. The value is so less, it's zero. You can go to companies and stores right now. They say we can't even give you change. We don't even accept pennies. And if
That's right.
we're not careful, we're supposed to be in $1 million season and we collecting pennies.
Mm, mm.
We worried about pennies. We worried about, and what is pennies? Who talking about me? Who looking at me? Who said
My
something
Lord.
about penny season, a dead season, a broke season? And so the only way our treasure box work is we got to have the right treasure box in the right season. If you still in the penny collecting season, worried about who said what, why they said it, why I can't do it, you in the wrong season. So I
Mm.
pray that after this and you hear this, that you get your mind out of the penny galley and you in the gutter, the penny gutter. I'm gonna call it the gutter. Get your mindset out of the penny gutter set, and let's get your mind on a higher level.
Yes.
So again, I'm doing my demonstrations here. The other demonstration I have here is this season. And what's this season? This season is just a bunch of junk. I got paper clips in here. I got uh all different thumbtacks in here. Just things that happen. You clipping on. You still got they clipped onto you. They could still connected to you. We
Oh God.
connected to people that we no longer need to be connected to. God has already told us unconnect yourself in this season to all these people. We carried all dead weight. And sometimes, absolutely sometimes, that dead weight is family. We're trying to pull people and we're trying to drag people. And I'm not talking about young people. Yes, we got to pull young people, we got to drag young people, but people that are 40 years old and older and
Mm.
don't want to be in a wealthy place, set them free.
Set them free.
Set them free,
That's right.
release them, and get them out of your treasure box. Because
Come
if
on.
you don't set them free, this is the treasure you will remain. You will be a small treasure because you constantly giving everything out. Your treasure can't grow because you're giving everything out. So release them, unclip them from your mind, unclip them from your heart. As we said last couple of days ago in our Bible study, some stuff you just got to turn over to Jesus. And you got to turn those family members over to Jesus when you see, okay, I've been doing this 60 years with you. I've been doing this 40 years with you, and you are not changing. It's time to turn those people over to Jesus so that your treasure can now grow. So we are here today and we're talking about our treasures and what's in our treasure. Yes, we got a physical thing that we're looking at, but we're also talking about the spiritual side. We're talking about, in this season, it's going to require a different treasure box. You're going to have a different treasure box in this season. What you had as a little child, the things that was valuable to you as a little child shouldn't be valuable to you anymore. As you know, are you gonna come over to my house? Did you like my social media? That's how children think. Are you
That's
still
good.
my friend? When I left the room, did you all talk about me? I looked across the room and you was looking at me funny. What season are you in? Are you still in a mental childlike season? Because you gonna have to
Yes.
release that season and set that stuff free. So I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what season am I in? What season am I in? What's holding me back? Could it be that in my treasure box, I'm in the wrong season?
Mm.
You in the wrong season because we'll talk about, you all know I'm visual now. I don't know if you all can see this. I have a big word here, said dream. We'll talk about God gave me a dream, God gave me a vision, God gave me an idea. But if you in one of these low level seasons and you got in these low level treasure box and you still in a high season where you should be dreaming, But you're so worried about what people think and what they say and how they gonna act because now you done moved into a larger house. Now you done got a new car, and we're still concerned about your dream is going to die. Even your dream is out of season now. I was at the store and saw this plaque, and this plaque said, "I'm just here for the cake." The sign said, "I'm just here for the cake." And so if you've been going to workshops and seminars and you go get all the good food, eat up all the snacks, take you a to-go bag and all this time, you just here for the cake. You just here for the cake. If you're not making any changes, and it's been 10 years, it's been 5 years, it's been 2 years, and you've been going to financial workshops, you've been reading every self-help book there is, and you still dealing with the same thing, you just here for the cake. You just say, "I'm just here for the cake." And we got to give that lifestyle up that we just here for the cake. After this workshop, after this season, I pray that you no longer go anywhere and you just there for the cake. Because what happens when we just there for the cake? We enjoy the moment. Oh, this sounds good. We'll go hear our pastor, and they'll preach, and oh, this sounds good. Praise the Lord. And before we leave the door, we hadn't put anything into practice. They said, stop over that overspending. Stop spending and giving away what you don't have. And you raising your hand in church and hallelujah and high-fiving people. And before you get out the door, somebody already text you and say, "I need $20." And here we go. Cash apping. Here we
That's
go.
good.
We done did all that jumping. We done did all that shopping. We done turned around 3 times. We done jumped over the pew, kicked somebody in the back of the head. We done did all these things in the name of confirmation. And before we walk out the door, we doing the
Ah,
same thing. "I'm just here for
my
the
goodness.
cake. I'm just here for the cake." Are you just here for the cake? Because if you are just here for the cake, this time next year, you're gonna be doing the same thing. Matter of fact, we can bring it closer than that. This time next month, you're gonna be the same thing. You're gonna have the same thing in your treasure box. You're gonna be just as broke as you were in your treasure box. So let's keep on with these treasure boxes. So another treasure box. This is a huge treasure box, and you should, if you are a teenager or 20 and you're 30, or you should have a huge treasure box. You should be dreaming big. It should be just unrealistic. I want the house with 10 bedrooms. I want a white picket fence. I want 5 children to get new shoes every day. Your treasure box should just be crazy, to be
Mm,
just enormously out there crazy. Because I remember being an 8-year old, and I was like, I'm gonna be a doctor, I'm gonna be a lawyer, I'm gonna be a teacher, I was just dreaming of all these things. I'm gonna be a
yes.
business owner. So your treasure box should look like this. This is what your treasure box should look like. You should have just dreams that's way out there. And I want to say this to the parents. We should be encouraging our children. We should be encouraging our young people that make sure your treasure box is huge.
Mm,
Make sure it's enormous, because
that's
now
good.
that gives them so many options that they can pull from. If they just got one option and then that option don't work out, guess what? They immediately feel like a failure. Why? Because they had one thing in the treasure box. I just want to get married. And what? I just want to be mom. And what? I just
Right.
want to travel. Where? And how you going to afford to do it? So make sure that we are pushing our kids. If you have a child that's 30, I'm going to go with 35. If you have a child, a niece, a cousin, anybody that's 35 and below, we should be pushing them. Get you a house, pay off all your debt, make sure you don't get into debt. Come to the financial classes, come to the real
Mm,
estate classes. What type of business should you own? You should have 5, 6, 10, 15. Try everything that comes to your mind.
mm,
Just try it.
that's good.
Let it be increased. Let it come to you. So that's when we're talking about treasure boxes. We want to encourage you to encourage your loved one to dream big. Make sure their treasure box is huge. Now, by the time they get to college level and 25, and I'm gonna make this level a 40-year old. I'm gonna make this a 40-year old. By the time, as you notice, these treasure boxes getting smaller. Now, by the time you 40, you still want to make sure you got plenty of shoes and nice purses and all that kind of stuff. You know how we did. So those of us who are old, y'all know how we did. We got perfume and gifts all look like every week. If we got a paycheck, we said crazy stuff. Every time I get paid, I'm gonna give me two pair of shoes. Every time I get paid, I'm gonna give me a bottle of perfume. Every time I get paid, I'm gonna give me this, I'm gonna give me that, I'm gonna give me this, I'm gonna give me that. That was our treasure box, and it was okay. It was okay because that thing had value to you. And we're just talking about the natural things right now. But somewhere about 40, especially if you're not financially stable, the light bulb got to come on and say, well, you know what? I'm going to start taking some of this stuff out of this treasure box. I no longer care about shoes. I don't care about cars. I don't care about these things. I want to make sure that my generation,
My
that my
Lord.
children's children is taken care of. I want to make sure that I own some land. I want to make sure that I've educated the people below me on the value of land. I want to make sure that I've educated them. It's not about money in the bank. Please know that that's not the wealthy place. The wealthy place is, have you yourself obtained enough education to change somebody else's life?
Mm.
And not only do you know it, have you passed it on for real? Have you brought your family together and said, okay, let me educate you about this house. Okay, let me tell you about this boat. Let me tell you about the things that we need as a family. Let's make sure by the time we 40 that our treasure boxes are now getting smaller. They're getting smaller. They're not getting bigger. Our treasures
Mm.
change. As we get older, our treasures change. We like, you know what? Girl, I used to buy name brand pocketbooks all the time. I used to go get my hair fixed every other week. I used to do those things, but they lost value. They don't mean the same thing for us. Yeah, we want to keep our cuteness, but we can do cute 30 every 30 days at this point. I go get my feet done every 30 days. I don't have to go change my toe polish every 2 weeks now. I don't have to go get change my polish every week now. I don't need 20 wigs, maybe 300 wigs. I don't need 300 wigs. I can bring that down to maybe 100 wigs. Our values change, which means my treasure has to change.
Mm.
So I want to talk about this because we can talk about believing all day long. We some things we got down packed. We got believe down packed. I believe God for this. I believe He gonna show up and do this. I believe He gonna do the supernatural. I believe He gonna work it out. All of that is wonderful. All of that is needed. All of that is good. But with the belief, gotta come some wisdom. And so
Mm.
wisdom tell you, do not go out and waste $3,000 and $4,000 every day on nothing. And then you have nothing to show for it. And then when they say, well, what do you own? The only thing you can say is, I own one home. Our cars are paid for. That sounds good. But what value does that home bring for you? What do you do in that home that brings additional money?
Mm.
What do you do? But yet we believing for the supernatural. I'm believing for the financial increase. I'm believing, but we do nothing with the belief. You ought to have something in that treasure box that you can go in and dip into that treasure box and pull out something else and say, okay, God, this is a new idea. Now this new idea finna make me some money. Okay, this new idea, I'm about to do something else with it. But if your treasure box has nothing but that you can look over it and say, woo, look at all this money I got in this treasure box. Any financial person would tell you just having money in the bank isn't enough. Because if you just got money in the bank and it's not growing, it's not increasing, it's dead money. It's dead money. It has to grow. You got to learn how to invest that money. Invest in another business. Invest and get some dividends coming in and all of that stuff. Make sure your family got life insurance. Make sure your family got health insurance. Let's talk about that. Faith. We talk about having faith. Oh, the Lord is going to heal me. He's going to do all this. But your treasures, by the time you're 40, should now be changed, especially 50. Let's move it on up to 50. By the time you're 50, my treasure is my health. I'm concerned about my health. I'm not concerned about how many cars in the driveway. I'm not concerned about how many people showed up at the party when I had my birthday party. I'm not concerned about that. What I need to know is that I'm not going to have a heart attack in 2 weeks. I need to know that I'm not 500 pounds and I won't stop eating. I
Mm.
need to know my treasure is I got to make sure that this temple is right so
My
that
God.
when I go before God, I can say I kept my temple right. I
Mm.
didn't die early because I wouldn't stop eating fried chicken. I didn't die early because I couldn't give up sugar. I didn't die early. I didn't reach the people I was supposed to reach because I got migraine headaches. Why? Because I'm stressed out about every little thing. What's in your treasure box? We got to change the treasure. So as we get older, as we get wiser, our treasure should be changing. And so that what that means is my treasure box getting smaller. Why? Because it's not so much about the physical stuff anymore.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to put love letters in my treasure box no more.
Mhm.
Okay, we got love letters. We got everything they sent from Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and Day. That's good at this age. That's what you should have in here at this age. That's what you should have in this age. But by the time you get to these age, as you see, the treasure box got smaller. The
Mhm.
value has changed. The value of and what we're talking about, guys, on today, we're talking about the treasures of life. And what do you need to put in a treasure box? Yes, Minister Rose is putting a program together. She's talking about physical. If you want to get married and she's going to deal with that, what do you need to be putting physically in a treasure box? If you're about to go through a divorce, what do you need in your treasure box preparing for the next life? You
Yes.
need something in that treasure box to say, you know what? When I get my new place, I'm gonna have 6 months worth of rent. When I get my new place, I'm going to pay the rent up for 1 year. So if you know you're
Mm.
going through a difficult time, if it's a possibility that your job may play out, what's in the treasure box? If you think for 1 minute that you're not going to have a job in 6 months, in 2 years, 1 year, what's the plan? The plan is what's in the treasure box, what you put in the treasure box. You should have something amazing in this treasure box. Say, you know what? If this job shut down in 30 days, I got myself together. I'm living debt free. I don't have to worry about because if your house is paid off and your car is paid off, guess what we can figure out? We can go sell some pies, some baked potatoes. We can sell French fries. We can sell something to keep the power on. We can do something to keep the power on.
That's good.
But we can't keep the power on, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, pay car insurance, own 10 credit cards, and don't have a job. Get your treasures together. Get the treasure box together. Because nobody has to tell us, our parents used to always tell us, start saving. I remember when I got ready to get married, my mom was like, are you buying your sheet sets and pillowcases? And, we did all of these things. At that time, one of the biggest things was to get china. And so families always made sure you had china. The in-laws made sure that you had some type of china. But guess what? As I got older, that lost its value.
Yes.
It no longer it doesn't exist anymore. So that's what we're talking about. If you're in a season where you think that still has value, you're out of season. Some
Mm.
things don't have that. If you think your divorce that you went through 5 years ago, 2 years ago, still and you still thinking about it, you still worried about it, you still concerned, this happened to me and he did this and she did this and the dog ran off, you are out of season.
Mm.
You in a living season talking about dead stuff, and that's in your treasure box. Clear that out. Clear that out. So I want to ask this question. If you had to name your season, if you had to name exactly where you are in this season, I want to ask this question. I mean, I have some examples here. Are you in a healing season? Are you in a rebuilding season? Are you in a discovery season? Are you in a survival season? Are you in a growth season? Are you in an elevation season? Are you in a season of recovery? Are you in a season of preparation? Are you in a season of peace? Are you in a season of increase? Are you in a season of divide? Are you in a season of conquer? Are you in a season of failure? Are you in a season of I just don't know where I am? I don't even know where I am in this season. Not only do I not know where I am, I don't even know where I should be. That's what we want to deal with while we're doing these classes and while we're doing this workshop. You may not know what season you in, but you need to get in a season. You got to know what season you in, because if you don't know what season you're in or what season you should be in by now, you gonna surely die. Are you going to physically die? Probably not. Are you going to spiritually die? Absolutely. You're going to spiritually die. Are you going to be mentally dead? 100% you're going to be mentally dead, because you should be growing, but you at a still place because your treasure box has no value. And if you haven't set goals of where you want to be a year from now, 6 months from now, if you don't even know where you want to be next week, guess what? You out of season.
My God.
You got to know where I need to be. I know where I need to be this evening. I know where I need to be financial. Since I'm talking about the finances, I know where I need to be finances in the next 2 months. I know where I need to be financially in the next 3 months. You got to know, where do you need to be? If you don't know what season you need to be in by the, I'm going to even say the end of the week, you get up, you go to work, you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, every 30 days, however you get paid, and it's wasted. You have nothing to show for it. Yes, you may have a closet full of clothes, you may have a closet full of shoes, but where is your wealth?
Mm,
Where is your
good.
wealth? So I want to end on today simply to ask you, what's in your treasure box in this season? So, Minister Rose, I turn it back over to you.
All right. Woo! You all, my goodness. I am I'm just I took a lot of notes. I am just in